back
need
with,
it so
with,
dramatic and
with chapter 3.
still mid-session technically.
I know, but it's good for the recording.
You've gone past that point now where it's been between chapters.
Yay, new chapter.
So, new chapter, yay.
Yes, the next morning you'll rise. You can if you ask anyone, there's like people running about running around on the on the service trying to work out what happened, trying to help what's going on.
Oh, by the way, yes, you're confusing her and distracting her.
Does Laurel need any help? Can Raphael help with anything?
Sure, hold this rope.
Okay.
Well, then don't confuse and distract her.
But yes, the next day, what do you do?
I have a question before I decide this.
Mm-hmm.
When Riff's at the gate just before going into the palace district, if she says that she may be expecting word from Raphael, Zoe, or Laurel, will they tell her? Come and tell her?
Tell her what?
Tell her where to go? That she's got a message from one of them.
That's not their job. Their job is to manage to get in and out.
Okay.
Raphael can get inside and talk to her.
I suppose, but can he get into the? Can he get into the library? Because that's where Riff would go. Can he go
What
into the library?
The
palace's library.
What does that have to do with
And
us?
no,
We can't go
Raphael
in
does
there.
not have access to the palace's library. Fun fact.
Yeah.
Riff doesn't want to help.
Riff
in the
does,
foreign
but
district. She just wants to read books instead.
she has work to do as well, and she's going to get up super early in the morning after 2 hours of sleep.
It's not like people need help or anything.
What is she going to do?
No, it's important.
Cast
She has
fireball?
more important things to do.
She has no
Like
healing.
figuring out how to
Does
kill people.
Does Laurel have knowledge nobility, out of curiosity?
Does Laurel have knowledge? That is a good question. I'll see if I can...
You do have...
Yes, he does.
Then at some point, when maybe Laurel is eating lunch or something...
Well, it doesn't happen because he doesn't need to, but
well, you know, maybe he has a cup of coffee or something. Yeah, walk and talk. But Raphael will fish out an older looking pendant and show it to Laurel. This is the one that you sent me about, Didias. And he shows it to Laurel and says, "This it's sort of a boring story, but I did charm a beautiful lady at the ball. Maybe you remember."
Oh, her.
I'll sort of nod slightly.
Well, to show her affection for me, she did send me this thing, or told me exactly where to go and fetch it. I'm not actually sure what it does, honestly. But I thought maybe you did. It was found in an old, he seems to think, an old noble house, quite dilapidated.
Well, Laura looks over it. It's very similar in design to the normal ones you'd use to get in and out of the palace normally, except one difference. It is in the function. It functions independent normally of the crown. It's a special one which it can be used to get is used to get into fortresses and all that without like having to wait for yes, go in. It's generally given to the people that need highest access to play locations where it might take a while to contact the Empress. That can get her into palaces, keeps, castles, whatever. A single person.
Well, I'll tell him that.
He seems surprised. And then he will smile and says, "Well, she was of an old family then."
Well, it says, and apparently very affectionate for you. Seems she charms is getting you all sorts of benefits.
Yes, he sort of frowns a bit. I still don't know why so. He always throws me out.
Yes, I think she has been taught more to the idea of courtly love.
Oh, I see. I am moving too fast, you say.
This
This is not a concept.
I'm not sure. Perhaps you should speak to her father first. That seems to be the general way they do things.
He sort of frowns deeply.
That frowns as well.
That seems so roundabout, doesn't it?
Yes, I'm no noble, but the stories do have those happen all the time.
I suppose so. I must read the sort of, part of the story.
I dare you. He knows what you've done.
He cannot strike another noble.
I would parry him.
Because we totally care about that rule.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, yeah,
he
one
will
of these
say...
days, by the way, Laura will take out the He'll take out the bodies and burn them in the forest.
Mm.
And you're doing...
Not dissolve them in a vat of acid.
But no, that seems to be a bit crazy.
That's easy. Not the forest, dig a hole and burn
As Laura is dumping the bodies, who's with Laura, if anyone?
I would like to be with Laurel, I guess.
Ballard would be.
Ballard.
So it would be.
I have nothing better to do. I'm banned from helping, so I mean...
Well, so, did you say you are helping Tyne, or...?
Well, she will be with Laurel
She-
because she's a little nervous with the whole
Well,
thing.
we're about the cobalt forest.
Well, Ballard and Zoe,
And
notice that both Raphael and Laurel both seem to have this headache, which Laurel would recognize as the force of pulling into the plane.
Uh-oh.
who's getting pulled into the plane?
Laurel?
Only Laurel?
And apparently Raphael.
Help!
Laura will hand Ballard the bag of holding and tell him to finish the job with some alchemist fire. And he'll look at Zoe and says, protect our bodies. Or protect our location. And he'll quickly draw the circle around him on the ground.
Raphael frowns. What?
He looks to Raphael and says, protect, don't step in the area I was standing in.
What? Wait, what? What? Help! No! Help!
You don't get choices, man. Just to give you this picture again.
Ballard, I need a
swirling
hug.
maelstrom of crystals and other things.
Help!
Opens his eyes, breathing, looking
And
around.
open the new map.
Can Zoe get a hug from Ballard?
Is that a bench where I'm supposed to sit?
Is that like a special bench? Oh my
A
god.
side bench for me?
You there?
Oh, isn't that lovely?
Raphael gets that one. He gets that platform.
Why is that?
And you arrive, and the Empress is actually sitting in the platform in the middle, expectantly.
Oh shit.
Oh god, that means I have to hurry.
Hurry, sit down. Sit down.
Oh, this is gonna be awkward!
Well, remember, this is his place. He sort of walks here and then looks to the Empress to see sort of... Are we supposed to... Well, that guy sat down. Oh, wait, no, that's cutting. I don't need that. There we go. Let me sit down.
Raphael looks so
I'll just sit.
confused about anything here.
You think the Empress indicates, like, waves to this for you?
He sits down quietly.
Well, sort of
He's
looks,
thinking that he is definitely not dressed
looks
for this.
over the table to Raphael.
Yeah.
Raphael's like a scared little dog.
No, well, he is certainly he's carrying himself with his utmost confidence, but inside,
Looks
Inside
at,
he's
looks, at
dying.
the, looks at the waning number of people. Bishop not showing up, huh?
Bishop's busy caring
Oh,
for
there we go.
the dwarf.
He just likes to.
The bishop is out in the forest burning the body as well.
I was just dealing with a problem here.
Dealing
Soon
with
I'll be
Stonehammer
as well and
body.
sit next to that Lorraine guy.
He's missing Costello. I feel so sorry for you, Evan.
The council feels a lot smaller, doesn't it, though?
There seems to be some holes in it.
There's 3 holes.
Rune, you're supposed to sit in the middle.
Yeah.
God,
You know,
fucking damn it, X-Prince.
They can move apart right now.
Yeah.
Ah, some arm space.
That's nice.
There we go.
Fine,
Just for a quick question, because Raphael is certainly incredibly
He's sitting back there.
Why the
feeling
fuck?
very awkward.
like curious, and he will definitely take a good look at the king and try to gauge what the king thinks of him being there.
The king wants to execute you, you feel. He knows, but if he does so, he will be killed himself.
Raphael will be incredibly cautious, and if the
He also
king
can't touch you in here.
he will just smile and bow.
Knowing you can't be killed because Laurel said that before, and you can't be killed in here.
Well, he would fight if the king wants to throw down. Raphael will throw down.
Like, if any of you die, you'll just teleport back to the real world, so it's like...
This is beautiful. This really is.
Raphael knows he has the Empress's favor.
It's like a poem
She looks.
written out in the
So,
stars.
so the city has been assaulted, my bridges have been blown up, I need more information.
Again.
Ruth has all the
Stands.
information.
Anyone got anything about what's happened?
When we heard we were in the docks district, me and some of my retainers. Looks quickly to Raphael.
We are not retainers anymore.
When we
so-
heard the ringing of the alarm bells, We immediately moved to the aid of the Dark District, where we fended off a good 50 what seemed to be ghost orcs. After this, we continued to move towards the guild hall, where we intercepted, or where I at least intercepted, a burning guild hall and saved Brolk from a fire in a fight with what seemed to be a demon of some sort. It had some signs that it might have been a worshipper of Lamashtu.
From what I can tell, I have been doing investigations since the start of since whenever this started. Prince Bishop has informed me that Brolk is in critical condition, is no longer in a suitable state, probably forever running again my district.
Oh no, Bronk.
There puts forward a problem.
No, not Stonehammer.
I'm noticing my council is getting a little bit diminished here.
Oh no, she's gonna use Raphael.
Hopefully.
Oh!
Come on.
What? Better than someone the king would suggest.
It's just the distant voice of Zoe from another plane.
What? I mean, Laurel will do all the paperwork and the actual work.
Raphael?
Just needs a face to take more than one post.
That fucking idiot.
Oh no, it's fine. It's the best way.
So as it stands now,
Well, he worked for it, all right.
as it stands now, I have a critical situation
Hey.
to be dealt with.
Hey!
Well,
Dancing with Empress was just...
To deal with this, I am proposing two things forward. Firstly, Archmage, I have a job for you. You know of the barrier that I have put around my personal fortress. I want one built just for the entire city.
Oh, God!
Dear God, those rooms were huge, though. Those rooms were massive. That's going to take him ages.
Does the
gonna need an
Archmage
army.
like fall off his chair?
The Archmage turns white. Just white as a ghost.
like, perplexed and confused.
Those things were huge. I don't know if Raphael saw them.
A barrier to make the entire city to be able to be isolated, stopping any intruders from moving around
My God.
whenever required. I do not care of the cost. This city is getting way out of control. And I will not stand for this chaos in my city.
Well, no, it's a wise idea. I did not know such a thing existed.
It was something designed by one of the previous emperors hundreds of years ago. And while it requires great amounts of magic, I will find supplies for such.
Surely all the Empire's magical resources and magical minds must be put to this task at once. The problems here have escalated quite a bit. So from the plague and now this.
I will not handle any of this. Hear my word. If I get a whiff that any of you have been involved in this, and I will take your heads off personally and mount them on spikes.
Raphael.
And then your
shrinks.
suffering will begin.
That's just fucking start, man. What is Raphael doing there?
She puts her arm forward. You can see the bracelet sparkle in like the crystalline light. I am the Empress, and I will make sure that you will obey my word as you all given your oath of loyalty to the Empire.
It's true.
She looks over all of you, clearly Betsy. She wants to kill someone right now.
Subtly pointing at the king.
Like, hey, you could totally do it.
Kalendor gives a very, very subtle nod as well.
It's like a fucking peanut gallery over here.
Yeah, they're kind of hiding behind her where she can't see. So.
Like Kalendor and Valendor are like, yeah, you should totally deal with the king. Yeah, the king. You should totally kill him. Raphael's such a better king.
They can't. They're not allowed to have an opinion technically.
Like Raphael is such a better king.
Raphael is not having an opinion.
Laurel moves on to say, I have sort of interrupting the silence that probably fallen. Interrupted certain elements in my district. They seem to be operating, preparing to use poison gas. Perhaps the city should prepare for such an eventuality, now that gunpowder has been illegalized.
Poison gas. Interesting. Got any more information who's doing this? She glares you down.
Well, she said, sadly, no. These elements tend to swallow certain pills once they have been captured. Not much can be gained from them.
So, more countermeasures.
I tracked some of them to the docks district. Or at least I think that's where they were. He looks to the Lord General. I also have notified the good General of some elements that were tracked to a location in the top of the, like they call it, the Death Tower, something like that.
What?
I think it's called the Blood's Tower.
Yeah, the Blood's Tower. I hope those have been dealt with.
General, move troops. Keep absolute order. Martial law if needed in the port district.
Whoa.
If you need to, move troops away from my fortresses. There should be no issues of war right now.
Oh, interesting.
Okay.
Yes.
I will not stand for anything further than I'm going to lock this entire city into martial law. I disregard of your lord powers.
Wow.
Interesting.
I'm sending it. She seems to reach towards the crystal. I'm just see like it changed. I was part of the palace for a second. You can see her shout into it. Sapphire Guards, Regiment 4, 6, and 9 to the port district.
Well, she's taking no prisoners now.
Yeah.
You just see them salute through like the scrying and move quickly. If Riv is in the palace right now, she notices this.
Yeah, Riff hearing this is like, oh,
You don't hear this, but you see like regiments just run past.
Riff kind of like
Salute out
stops
of
reading
nothing
and
move. Yeah.
Riff kind of stops reading and goes back to the library to take her books back because she'd be lynched if she didn't, and then hurriedly start making her way to the secret base as quickly as she could.
She looks around. I hope you all understand what I've said here. No more disobedience. She starts going this way, drags Raphael with her.
What?
Help! 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 Oh.
Your lady, you played.
Make me happy.
Exactly.
Tell me a joke, funny man.
Exactly. Dance for me. Tapping her sword.
Bellador and Keller look confused at each other.
Oh god, everything's gone to hell. This is not Riff's fault. This is not Riff's fault.
Laurel looks to Karoon. Says,
he looks to you very worried.
I believe we had an agreement with Brock.
That we did.
To send aid in his time of need.
Yes, I have arranged for a lot of support work. That's one thing our district is not lacking, as well as I have a decent fund of money to send. Though without government, it's slightly harder to use.
Yes, indeed. At least we can help as many of the civilians as possible. Luckily, Brock is saved. Even if he's taken off his post, stops there. He should be able to get a safe position in one of ours. Looks to Kellendor and Velendor.
He bows to the two of you, looking. They both bowed, so.
Any news?
Not much. Apparently, though, whatever's been happening here. Let's put it this way: from how we've seen her acting, at this rate, I think the Empress is tempted just to kill everyone.
No nonsense. Yes, it is a common sentiment these days.
If you go, no matter what ends up happening, try to stand out. Try to stand out of her way, please.
Well, nonsense. I intend to do nothing less. I, in fact, intend to help her as much as possible to catch those who's behind this sort of thing.
Good to know. They both look to each other and then just disappear.
Summoned.
Well, Master Colleen, you had a meeting with her recently.
Yes, it was supposed to be sending me off on a nice nice quote unquote diplomatic mission. Sending who's her technical next of kin off.
Interesting.
I'm not the heir, but I'm technically the next of kin.
Where would you be sent?
sending him off as an ambassador to one of the other duchies.
For you to stay there?
And a temporary post, possibly because she doesn't want me around.
Well, that's foolish. After all, you are one of the few who can really be thought to be loyal.
She doesn't trust me. Regardless, it looks like that will probably be postponed. Or
Most
maybe it won't.
likely.
We'll see.
Well, I hope she hasn't completely forgot of the festival as well.
We will see. But you're excited to see who becomes best and worst.
Oh, there's
May the best district win.
Throws down
there's,
the
I
gauntlets.
dread to think of being worst in that selection.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
He nods gravely as he dives away.
He didn't seem that worried, did he? Like, yes, I'm gonna be killed.
He did not seem worried.
All right.
he's a paladin. He can stand up. He can fight.
Not against the Empress.
Maybe
She
he
has
can.
Imperial
He
arms.
tried once and he got knocked out completely for like
Yeah.
days.
He got bitch slapped back
Hmm.
into
So
reality.
that's troublesome. Well, maybe that'll take care of some of the goddamn Thieves Guild activity.
Well, two things. Firstly, let's have a look. Laurel, you guys see Laurel like reappear in the forest.
Probably the
How
things already burning.
has Riff actually
no,
got out of the district?
You haven't made it here yet.
Oh,
You're
I'm getting a lot of unexpected errors right now.
Let me fix that for you.
Whoa.
Thank
So
you.
probably make it better.
How did you get over here?
You went to the forest as opposed to the body. On the other hand, Raphael, you did not reappear at all. All of you see like almost like smoking marks where he used to stand.
He was never seen again.
Raphael is currently in the palace.
Mm-hmm.
The Empress wants her entertainment.
Oh, yes.
You.
Can you supply?
Actually,
Probably.
Riff,
I don't
Go
have
for
my
the house.
token, but you know.
You do have your tokens on the palace.
Well, let's see here. Help.
So no.
You're on your own, sadly.
Yeah, you're
I
completely
mean,
on your
we
own.
can't
I don't-
really we can't reach you there.
We're at the back room of the palace.
Like,
Yeah.
you're not getting out.
oh god.
I'm not getting out until she's done.
Yeah.
That is certainly true.
Once you-
Yeah, it's going to be some panache on this, as much as I need to get her happy, I suppose, because otherwise I have a feeling I die.
That'll give her some fun, at least. She wanted to kill someone, and she didn't get to do it.
That's true. Well, maybe Raphael can turn that frown upside down.
Maybe.
You know.
A dance check.
Hmm.
Are you dancing for her?
What did you think? Dirty mind.
I don't know, but at least talking, I don't know. Dancing is a little weird.
He
You know, she had a good time with that previous dance.
yeah, he does dancing. He will certainly talk with her as well, or listen to her if she requires it, but he will not presume to, like, bring up such things. He doesn't know her well enough. He needs a couple of months.
She'll bring up some conversations, but yeah, so that brings up to 30.
Betrayed us.
Exactly.
31.
That
That's
look, I
the world
hate you.
guy.
Hate
So
him.
it's like, yeah, no, actually, that kind of...
31, you said? Let's burn one more. That will be a 37 and another 5 on that because it was cascading. So 42. That'll be enough, hopefully.
She does not kill you.
You know, I'll take that.
You calm her down a decent bit.
Yeah.
You were there for the entire evening. You even sleep in the palace.
Yeah. He will be exhausted for many reasons, I imagine.
You.
You also know for a fact that she basically just somehow almost blunted an adamantine sword.
Whoa.
If you know what I'm saying.
You.
Riff decided, instead of leaving, reading, because Blue Cloak's mobilizing.
You
Generally
know,
a bad sign.
You want to be
of-
where the blue cloaks are.
Yeah, so...
Like, in here, they're actually less proportionate now.
Yeah, but they mobilized out, so Riff now wants to
Stay inside where they're not.
stay inside where they're not and read as much as she can so that she may be able to not be murdered
You know,
by the
although,
Empress.
although Raphael is but a simple swashbuckler, I wouldn't presume to be as skilled as the Empress, of course. He certainly has a skill with a blade. If she wants a sparring partner, maybe work some of that aggression out, he can certainly help with that as well. Although I imagine his fighting style is kind of annoying to fight against because it's a lot of parries and flourishes and stuff.
She quickly takes you up to that. Regardless of your skill with parrying and flourishing, most of her blows still give you an annoying bump to the head.
No, that is certainly, if she actually takes him up on the offer, he would be incredibly honored. He has never dueled with an Empress, even though it's not really a duel, more a sparring. But
him up because he can't really.
With some of the hit, with some of the hit is like you notice she's like right about to put lightning into it. I was like, wait, spar.
Yeah, he just goes for the kill for a second. But yeah, also when they do this, he will mention that he has heard like outrageous rumors that she actually fought and was the Empress, not only before she was the Empress of the palace and the empire, she was the Empress of the gladiator ring, and he will try to sort of move the topic of conversation over to that to sort of get her sort of remember happy days and stuff.
Well, you go into that topic. She talked to you about a lot of the fights, some of the things she's fought in there. She even fought apparently a small kraken.
Well, he will listen to all of that and be suitably incredibly impressed, of course. And
you will constantly keeping you under a sweat from the sword blows.
And during all of this, he will be very keen in observing her fighting style, trying to learn, because she is clearly a good fighter. Not really in the same way that he is, because he's using like a bastard sword or something.
She is using a bastard sword.
Yeah, so that is like a really big, heavy sword. But he will.
She is very skilled with it, though. She's wielding it in a single hand and moving it very carefully.
Yeah, but he will definitely take a few pointers from this.
You're sometimes doing a power strike straight down, sometimes using it to help guard herself.
Mm-hmm.
Even at times before she's grabbed a shield and used it to defend herself.
Sure.
She's clearly not using her full strength on you, but I mean it's very clear she's not using her full strength. At times you see her have to actively hold back.
Oh sure, that's right.
She doesn't want to kill her play toy.
Yes. But that is interesting. That means Raphael can go all out on her possibly, and actually because
all out in a one-on-one.
Because if he can fight to the full of his abilities against the Empress, I can't think of any better sparring partner. Actually, she might think she is playing with him, but he is learning.
Yeah. She needs time to get her anger out on. At least you're willing to take a hit.
Oh, definitely.
She's not going to make sure. She's going to make sure you don't die.
I'm like the crocodile in Peter Pan. I take a licking and keep on ticking.
It's the next morning. A bruised Raphael.
Oh yeah.
Well, before that, sir, we'll look at Laura and ask what happened.
Oh, we'll basically tell what happened and say that Raphael apparently got taken away.
So Zoe will tell him she doesn't care.
Oh. Zoe.
All right. He'll also say that now Blue Cloaks seem to be involved in this whole thing. Soon martial law. She wants to be able to isolate the whole city within a bubble so that no one can escape her wrath.
So we'll look at Laurel. Did you know my mother helped her to become Empress?
I didn't. I don't know how she became Empress.
I don't know either, and I kind of don't understand why my mother would do that.
I grew up in the docks. I don't know. I mean, I know that there were guilds running the streets, but
no nobility checks can help you work out what happened there if you have it, or local checks with a higher DC.
I don't know. I don't know what happened. I would need to read about it, and right now there's a lot of things happening.
If you have access to your library as Lord Mayor, you get a +4.
I rolled a 30.
Did you use the Lord Mayor's library?
Sure, I can do that.
We can
34.
go back home and take a look.
Oh, actually, if you use your home library, that's +5 bonus.
Sure.
Because you have very old books in there.
Let's not stay here long. Let's go.
I'm sure Riff has a book or two on his room.
Well, what can she gather from that?
What happened?
Well, let's see. From what you can remember, the succession basically worked like this. For a long time. So of course the previous emperor and his queen were ruling for quite a long time, and they eventually had their first son, which unfortunately wasn't actually the emperor's son. It was of course the prince. It was the ex-prince. It was a bastard child who was acknowledged but not given right to the throne. After that, they eventually, many years later, eventually had a son, who was their only heir. When the son was around 4, the palace got assaulted by just waves and waves of assassins. Hundreds were dead, on both sides. Random servants, blue cloaks, and the emperor and empress. The ex-prince was mortally wounded but survived. The young son's corpse was never found in all the rubble. And after all that happened, after several months of searching around and trying to work out what happened, eventually, the council of the city called for the next they could find of kin to take over the throne. So the city has a regent while they try to find. The next in line was Eroda. Regent Empress Eroda ruled for 2 years in that position, and then after having inconclusive ability to find anyone, she was then declared to be true Empress. All other members assumed dead.
And there is a monument to the lost prince.
Yes, there is a monument. Various nobles throughout the city, aided in these runs to try and help both the empress and the council try and find people to the family and try and prepare this woman who was never destined to be empress and never was supposed to become the empress. She was never trained to be the empress. She was the second child. Yeah. She wasn't supposed to reach the throne. But she did.
Yeah. And they set off lanterns like entangled.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sad.
Not really.
Something the ex-prince did once he got his own district.
Yeah.
And then random people started following him.
It's sad, really.
It's not sad.
That is the family tree.
Okay, it's kind of sad for Kubrun, but that's it.
It was his sole duty to protect.
He lost his half-brother. Yeah.
It was like his sole duty. That's why he was there.
His sole duty was to protect the child.
Yeah.
Well, how is he gonna do that when he's a kid?
Well,
he was like. I mean,
Slightly
maybe
older kid.
He wasn't that old at the time, but his idea was to, act as a big brother, help raise him, keep him safe somewhat. And he's not like a few years older. I mean, he was a decent age at the time, but
anyway,
like a 12-year gap between the two of them. He was like 16 at the time. But yeah.
No wonder he's so sad all the time. At least he looks sad.
He looks sad.
So, the next morning, you all meet together. It's seemingly, I mean, the palace is very comfy. Raphael knows that now.
Mm-hmm. Well, he will return quite battered and bruised.
Is there like bunks in the palace?
He had his own private bedroom.
I know he does.
I think they have bunks.
He had a private guest bedroom.
What about Riff's position? Because she doesn't get lovely.
You basically just probably slept on a sofa inside the library.
Yeah.
Since it's only Zoe and Laurel and Bullard at the base and those here, Zoe will actually stay here. It's gonna be quite quiet here.
Sure.
In the morning, someone shows up.
Where?
Well, 2 people show up.
Where?
Possibly, Riffland and Raphael.
They are probably met up, on the way in or something.
Mm.
Rith will see Raphael being battered and bruised, He walks a little bit,
Riff
slowly.
Riff is clearly fatigued and is probably walking as slowly as him as well.
Like, oh, what a night.
Riff says, "I think we've had a bad night for different reasons." And she scratches her head.
Well, looks to the two.
Yeah, you can see the bruises. Raphael sits down. Clearly, there's
So he gives Laurel a look that says, "Don't ask him. Please don't ask him. Please don't ask him."
That sense motive from Laurel.
Ask anyone.
Okay.
He knows what happened. He doesn't need to ask anyone.
Good.
He knows Riff ditched people to do magic research, and he knows, Raphael, got beaten up probably.
Empress needs someone to kill. Beating up Raphael is the next
He
job.
doesn't really have too much to say now, because he got the things buried. He sent more foreign aid, and he worried about the future of the district and whether or not we should just call it here and leave. Because this seems to be things escalate to a point where
it's becoming
no real good ending.
becoming critical.
Because whatever you do next, it's gonna result in everyone getting killed.
Well, Riff walking.
And somebody's gonna push it too far.
So it's gonna explode at some point.
Yeah, but why are we gonna get blamed for that? It's not us doing it.
No, but I don't think at this point he probably doesn't care.
We are kind of doing it a little bit though, because we're looking for the lost heir, for instance. We're looking for him and wanting to get him out.
Though Raphael did note after what he did, she was a lot calmer than in the meeting.
Well, there you go.
You vented a hell of a lot of rage by letting her beat you up.
He will at least say that to the rest of the party, that at least she's not as angry anymore. Sort of, gently poking at one of his.
But like she had one of the priests come up to you and heal you, but it still hurts.
So he basically clenches her fist and looks angrily at you with a look that says, "Could you just shut up?"
Well, no sentences, but how long would that last?
Yeah, I don't know.
Sooner or later, someone's gonna do something, and that something is gonna escalate everything.
So are we gonna look for this half-elf she's torturing?
Right now, from what I could gather, she's gonna put her magical resources to something else.
Riff nods and says,
"Can she do it? It seems incredible."
Riff
knows something about this barrier.
Yeah, Riff says that these barriers, at least the one that they use on the stronghold, taps into a natural reserve, like the one that we found at that strange temple.
The difference is though that's a relatively small. If it covers around the fortress.
Yeah, they built this fortress,
and it's incredibly draining on whoever has to operate it.
Yeah.
Once
So-
it's the city,
Who is
from what Riff could tell, that would require an unbelievably huge amount of magic.
so who's gonna do that?
And
It's-
who's
it's no-
question.
It won't be one person. That would require somebody with immense strength.
Or they find another of those magic nodes, like ley lines, and tap into.
They need somebody
But it still requires an operator.
Yeah, which it needs somebody very powerful or many less powerful casters.
She's building something like the Astronomicon.
But she's also studying how to capture magic.
Golden Throne.
So it's possible she
Sacrifice
wants
the Psychers.
She wants to kind of gain a bigger reserve and possibly make a reserve under the city. And also, she wants to find out how to counter Fey enchantment magic. Of all things. Very, very, very specific and very odd. And Riff has a paper that she has now given in after a long night's work. And I believe Riff would have some notes in her little notebook that she carries around.
Probably.
I don't even Riff's tired. Riff doesn't even.
Riff is fatigued.
Riff is fatigued. She knew something had gone down, and
Not want to
Raphael.
leave the office.
Oh yeah, no, Riff wasn't risking that shit. And
You
Raphael's saying
also heard like screams and shouts from the main palace.
that Riff obviously knows was Raphael from hearing his screams and shouts in the past
And an
while being
explosion.
skewered.
There was an explosion. She did accidentally cast a fireball at one point. It missed Raphael, but you know.
Took out like a whole wall of paintings of old emperors, though.
These things
Yeah,
happen, man.
I mean those
These things
paintings were kind of priceless, but you know she has to make holes. She can do it later.
But yeah,
He is-
Riff decided instead of going home, she would just study and send a messenger for the notes from her sage. And studied all night. Very tired. And
Yes.
we'll
Laura?
explain, basically.
Laura, was it time?
Well, Laurel is not sure now because, like, he needs a few days to figure out where everything is now, sort of. Upon what does the world rest? Who's going to be the leader of the foreign district? Like, who's
No one right now.
and who's like, what's going to go on with the election in the docks? I mean, there's two pretty
Was-
crucial political choices that.
She'll
Was
probably...
Raphael will have to say, was the actual attack on the town hall? It is very brazen. Is it possible that the monster did so with the bidding of one of our adversaries? Because they did pretty effectively take out one of our staunchest supporters. Yes.
Well, no, that is very likely. Yes,
So the balance on the council is currently even.
reshuffled.
Yes. So as we are taking out players, so are they.
Yes.
He frowns. The Empress will know of this sooner or later. We can't keep killing like this.
Riff,
At some point, someone will see something, and we will be discovered.
Well, not. Yes, we need to move in a different way. I feel.
Riff frowns and says that we're getting good information very slowly. We need to speed up the information gathered. How we do
We
that...
need to be more cautious. That's what we need to do.
But right now, from what Raphael said, the Empress wants answers. We don't have any. That means that our heads are on the proverbial chopping board. And
Yes,
until
hopefully, the opponents don't have any answers either.
that is why I spent all night up trying to, knowing that I am friends with all of you, hopefully means that me giving her some answers to what she wants will at least appease her and get our necks at least an inch away from the board, giving us a better chance.
She has already changed her plans quite a bit from she's not on the front lines anymore. I'm not actually sure who is leading in the invasions or conquerings or whatever the army is doing. She pulled out from that to settle down and to get control, and it's only gotten worse.
Riff nods and says, well, the last large civil war lasted 6 years. I think she wants to prevent something similar happening.
Perhaps this will at least have the effect that when I take over the docks, I should have quite a bit of support in rooting out the guilds.
Yes.
Nod. I would think so.
And perhaps even some help from the Empress almost directly, as the port district is the worst of all the districts when it comes to these
If there's
problems.
one thing we've proven, it is that North Side has become one of the most stable areas.
Riff nods and says, "Well, even the palace grounds seemed empty this morning, with all the blue cloaks disappearing last night."
We should appear on the streets of the city by now.
Raphael smiles though and says, "We are certainly getting closer to a position of power where the Empress will start to listen to us quite a bit, I think. As you said, Northside is somehow one of the most stable districts in the city. That is quite the accomplishment, given everything. We literally defended the citizens of the foreign quarter, even though we didn't manage to intercede before Stonehammer got taken out. But we did protect the cities by ourselves. The myth about us will spread more and more. I think the Empress favors us quite a bit."
For good reason.
He nods. "It is somewhat delicate, then, that we are ostensibly planning to betray her, yes?"
No, so Shigden says, I'm not so sure yet. Right now, I don't think we should move against her.
Raphael nods. "I don't think so either. She is ruthless, and her fury is certainly real." He sort of gingerly pokes at his arm. But
The Empire needs stability. I would do much to avoid a civil war as well.
a civil war would be catastrophic.
Hundreds of thousands of casualties. Society, it simply is not something that should ever be considered.
But in the same time, we cannot allow her to torture people like she does.
No.
Riff,
We need to intercede on some level. Why exactly is she torturing this supposed lost heir? Is it
Riverland?
Riff speaks up, kind of very tired still, and says, "If the cold iron that she's getting, I found she's getting them from. She's getting a lot of the tools from Dronga.
Well, not just stronger, but other people. But
From
he's a bit major supplier.
He's a major supplier for it. And she's looking at ways of harnessing energy using wards in mass production, and looking at countering Fae. All of this seems so strange. She's got such a broad spectrum of interests. If only if I could get any closer to what her heart desires, I might get closer to to finding this half elf that she's torturing."
Raphael frowns. He says, "I did see something when I was with the Empress last night. There was a map on the table. It had various locations circled within the city, including the King's Place, somewhere out at sea," he seems to try to recall, "the stronghold outside the city, and the whole of Northside."
Well, frowns.
The whole of Northside?
What sort of map was this?
Scowls at this as well.
Well, it was hard. I was somewhat preoccupied. It was difficult to steal a good glance at it. But it strikes me that at least we know some of these places have Imperial arms.
She knows.
Oh, yes.
Raphael
Yes, that
nods
seems
slowly.
to be it.
Yes, she might.
But Raphael did know, like the King's Palace, it was like very precise. Like she went down to probably even the room.
Mm-hmm.
Here is like just somewhere here. There's something I'm looking for.
Yeah. You know, then she might have the inclination that there is actually an Imperial army north side, but she does not know where. So far, our secrecy
Someone
is...
built the building out of lead.
All of this lead has been bought by the Lord Mayor's office.
It does make it slightly difficult for any magic to penetrate.
Laurel frowns and keeps frowning. He says, I did expect this to happen. I've been using the hideout more than it was designed to be used for.
Riff,
It's more of a bunker where one can disappear. It's never designed for this.
Riff nods and says, we really need somewhere warded against this sort of thing.
Raphael.
Lead is good and all, but
Raphael holds up a hand.
yes.
We
Yes,
do
dear.
have... We do have quite a powerful wizard on the payroll, don't we?
I don't think Moonseer is capable
No,
of these.
not Moonseer.
What?
The guy
Then-
in the prison.
The guy in the... What guy in the prison?
Was in the
Elaine?
prison.
He was in the
Yeah,
prison.
Lane.
Yeah, he's
Rather
in the
Lane.
prison. Yeah, or Lane, yes. He's a
Get
powerful
him,
wizard.
get him to
Get him
ward
to
the place?
start warding up the place. Then we don't have to mask Moonseer. He's already in on it.
Yeah,
we don't really know where he is at the moment.
just turn the library into
Lost him?
a warded room.
No, he's on a mission.
Yeah, he's on a mission.
I mean, Mage's Private Sanctum is incredibly expensive, but it can be maintained.
Worth it. In this situation.
It would completely nullify any attempts on scrying on us. Unless they use, I guess like Miracle or something could do it, but
You know, but the chances.
but for anything less than that, we would be fairly safe.
Yeah. I think that we should ward... Although lead walls are nice, warding's always better. So, we need to change one of these rooms into a warded sanctum.
Mage's Private Sanctum is actually quite, the area of effect is actually quite large.
Oh,
we could
okay.
possibly cover all of it.
Oh, nice. Okay.
But we could have let that book stay at the Archmage place.
Well, it's too late now, sadly.
The Archmage doesn't want it.
No, he knows that this kind of targeting will happen. Now he can be like, I don't know anything about it. What's an Imperial arm?
Well, he was researching it on Empress's
Well, that's not him.
command.
That's not.
What? Let's say that that our mage friend is like level 10, something like that.
Just put them
Yeah,
in the king's
that's
place.
about what you said when you first
Then-
encountered him.
Then he can place 10 30-foot cubes with one casting of Mage's Sanctum.
Yeah.
Which is 10 of these. That can cover a fair bit of ground.
But Raphael doesn't know that.
No, but
And-
me as a player say that's a way for us to ward the base.
I'm sure Riff has heard of this in her numerous studies. I'm sure Riff has heard of this or knows of something like this.
It's me with greater system mastery than Halldamir suggesting something that Ritherlin
Yeah.
would probably understand. Or
Yeah.
Rifflin would know what Major Private Sanctum is, just it's outside her power level.
Yeah.
Does Laurel know how to contact
Elaine.
Laura.
Cordell?
Yeah.
Laura can get a hold of him. It's not too difficult to get a hold of. Betty, create a mark here, he will notice it.
Then let's get a hold of him.
I think like 4 castings will probably cover most of it.
Yeah,
You should just have a whistle and he will survive. That would be
Full
very
castings.
convenient.
that could work.
Well, you don't even have to go out the building. You can literally just create a little room from on the floor, and you
Yeah.
will notice.
Let's do it.
Well,
Let's
that's
just wait.
good.
One of you want to spend the time drawing it?
Sure.
How long will it take?
Laurel will
like
look to
3
Raphael,
minutes.
to I guess, Rithlin and say, I will entrust you to ward this place further, with the help of Elaine.
Riff nods and says, one of you might want to write out whatever it is that you need to write out. I'm too tired. I might mess it up. Who knows? Might explode. She kind of shrugs.
He'll look to Raphael, as Ballard probably seems clueless, but it's like,
Well, I'm going to go to the kitchen.
Really, you look to Raphael.
It's
he wants to
basically
help
just,
people, he can
Raphael
write.
basically just has just copy paste with chalk.
He can do that.
Like, Riff can tell him how to do it if really need
Doesn't
be.
have to, like, you have a written down version, you just need to draw it.
Yeah.
Raphael will draw it.
And
poof on the table. I like it.
you called. He jumps down.
Riff nods and says, sorry for my slowed speech, but we need this place warded, and if I remember rightly, what was it? Mage's
private sanctum.
Mage's private sanctum. We'd probably
purpose is for
warding this place, and kind of gestures with both hands outwards, very sluggishly.
Against what exactly is the problem?
So he looks at
Scrying.
him. Cordell, you're not a fool. You know what?
Is it against just normal scrying, or is it against something else?
Very powerful scrying.
Are we talking the Imperial arms themselves searching for each other?
No.
No, but
She looks at Raphael. The Queen's boy toy saw that the Empress boy toy saw that she probably knows where the Imperial arms are, that they are in Northside. We need her to...
Well, Sam, I believe you guys have seen where the Imperial arms were hiding.
Riff nods.
Well,
slowly.
Rick did.
And
The difference is in a
Bollard.
building like this, because of its nature, it becomes very difficult to narrow it down. Possible, but it takes time.
Just
If that's what she's using, this will not stop her completely. It will slow her down for a much longer time, though.
that's all
Well,
we need.
We need her to slow down. Anything we can do.
Yeah,
Very well.
That's all we
It will
need.
it will occupy a lot of my time, however, because this is a significant amount of magic.
Where have you been?
If I can
Well-
aid in any way, I shall.
Anyway. You've
After a nap, maybe. After a nap.
Raphael, go to bed.
Yes, Cordell will now stick around here, basically, because he has to use most of the duties in here now, because it takes it takes a few casting.
No.
Yeah.
Where has he been, and what have you been doing?
He's been doing what Laurel asked him to do, which was like track down
Try to find
that's true.
find the guy who just ended up
Who we
coming to a
killed.
meeting with us.
Yeah. Riff
Good
does
find
her
him.
usual of sits in front of a desk with a book and falls asleep on the book.
That's how she sleeps.
That's how she's used to sleeping now. She's just got so used to it. 2 hours later, she'll wake up.
But Cordell chills out on a set of barrels, gets out his spellbook and begins casting something.
Raphael will carefully look at Zoe, faint smile.
So we will look distressed and says I better get to work.
Oh,
But like, just as Rivlin's trying to get to sleep, by the way,
yeah.
she gets a letter.
Oh, yeah. Riff will open it and read it.
Where did you get a letter from?
Another, like one of the people comes indoors and like gives it to her.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That just meant...
A trade ship has arrived. You said you wanted to be alerted on everyone that arrives.
I said anyone that looks suspicious. Oh, yes. People.
I'm not sure if it's suspicious. It matches the description of like an antique trade vessel.
Riff will mention to the others that there's a trade ship, and she might look into it eventually.
Might sleep.
And she kind of nods off with like the letter in hand, and she just kind of lays her head on the letter and the book and just falls asleep.
Zoe basically becomes extremely red in her face and what the hell are you doing? Stop that!
But I...
Raphael, stop it! You hear from Riff through the door. Just shut the fuck.
Uh,
2 hours later, she wakes up and is like, "Hey, everybody, I'm Dr. Nick.
Whack. Sleep.
I slept my 2 hours I need. I'm happy now."
And so I said, and it's not the point.